Hello, friends. Here's my 2 bits for the night, for the day. A thought I had that came to me about anxiety is how I've been going about anxiety lately. A lot of it has to do with superstitions, if you have them yourself. Step over a crack, you break it back, whatever. It's really an issue. With anxiety. So I'm going to talk about that, superstitions. And I'm going to talk about being in a public setting, because this is when anxiety can really be something. What I do when I have anxiety in a public situation, even being isolated mostly, day to day, night to night. Maybe I'll talk about that too. I'm a night person, so I'll talk about that as well. That'll be great. Can I remember that I'll talk about that? Maybe. So, let me start with the superstitions. Touching the knob 2 times, 3 times. Putting the papers at the bottom of my birdie's little trays that I can pull out. If I have them a little bit off or they're a little bit crooked, well, then all of a sudden I have this new thing. And if I don't put them on correct, if I don't place the papers on correct, it's always something bad will happen. And I've seen a thing on TV back when I was watching it. There was a showcase thing of a family where the father was he would blow on DVDs, and he had all these little things, and if he didn't blow on the DVDs, something horrible would happen. And the amazing thing was, and this is TV, is that the wife was so understanding and so caring for this person that the husband was still around. And we're talking day in, day out. This guy had numerous things that he had to continuously do. And he was absolutely sure of it, that if he didn't blow on these DVDs and take the DVDs out and blow on them, and it had nothing to do with watching the DVDs, he just had to keep taking them out of the DVD tray and blowing on them. Even if they're fabricating that for the show, I wouldn't say that that's far off from superstitious anxiety and doing certain things that are, what is that they call ritualistic? I mean, you can call it whatever you want to call it. If you do these types of things, then you're going to know what I'm talking about. Maybe this is not anything that applies to you. You might not want to watch any of this video then. It might not do anything for you. If you do, carry on with me. If I'm not bouncing around here too much, which I can do. Let me talk about some of my superstitions. These are not all of them. These are some of them. I've randomly just put them out. Before I go to bed, there's a door. I've got to touch it. I've got to close it a certain way. And if I don't close it perfectly, to where it all comes in perfect and closes perfectly, I got to redo it. Well, I got over that for the most part. I still can do it. I like to think that inside of my head that I've gotten pretty good at it. And I can shut the door really nice and sweet. And then I have to tap underneath the doorknob. And I have to be satisfied with how I tapped it underneath the doorknob. There's not a specific way that I have to do it. I just have to tap it a couple of times or whatever, and then I can move along to my bed to go to sleep. And I like to point out that most of my superstitious stuff really starts to heighten before bed. Whatever that is, when I'm tired, when I'm exhausted. My anxiety goes up. It's not only before going to bed. I wash my hands repeatedly. I don't like oil on my hands. I don't like dirt on my hands. I don't like dirt and oil or any kind of things to be on things that I use repeatedly. Pencils, video game controllers, such as that. And that's gone back all the way to my childhood. All the way back to my childhood. Not all of these go back to my childhood. That one does. And I had a time where I was upset about that with some family because they weren't going along with me on that, because it's not only about my hands, it's about the things that I have that I don't want getting dirty. And if you look around at my place, not everything is clean. I'm very specific as what I want clean or staying. This has to do with anxiety. This has to do with my personality. This has to do with the things inside of my brain. That has to do with how I go about interacting with things that I have. This, very shortly, this carries over onto sex. So, there are some things with sex that are really hindered because of certain things, such as smells or whatever. If the lady is not smelling well or whatever, bang, that is a turn off. And I'm out. And I've got to lie to them as to why I'm completely stopping. Which is sad, because I've talked to some guys and they've talked about how that turns them on. And I've attempted to get into it myself. And say, that would be kind of, no. And that's the natural scent of a woman. So why would that be an issue? Remember when I said that I jump around a little bit? There's one instance. If you are a female, don't worry about your smell. I'm unique in that way. It's an issue. It's not a thing for you. Most men like the smell of a woman in every way conceivable, because it heightens senses. Anyway, so the washing my hands is an issue because I blister from washing my hands so much. I'll be doing dishes or whatever, and it's superstitious that actually the washing my hands is not really so it has really nothing to do with superstition. That's really a compulsive thing. What I mean by that is when I'm doing those things with the washing my hands, I'm not thinking to myself, that there's this mystical thing or something awful will happen that I have no idea. It's an exact thing. I don't want the stuff to go on the things that I'm touching. So I don't want any kind of dirtiness on my hands because I don't want to be dirtying the things that I care about. Maybe it has something to do with caring for the things that I care about and the power of personality of this personality thing of caring very much for the things that you're close to, or caring very much for things that are dear to you, people, things. It goes to objects too. Which movies have made fun of. I'm thinking about, coming to my mind right now, I'm thinking of that Stripes with the Francis guy. If you've seen that movie, when they're going around introducing themselves, and he says, "Don't touch my stuff." No one's gonna touch your stuff, Francis. Makes me think about Francis. So there's some stigma there. I remember a friend telling me about a friend that they had that I was associated with, wasn't really friends with. I knew him, and they went over to his place, and he was having a party, maybe to come out of his zone. And as he described it, he had to have everything in a certain spot. So he said it was funny because they messed with him, and we were younger then. And he said it was funny because they moved his DVDs around. Well, he instantly realized, and that's how they were messing with him, because they wanted to know if he was noticing that his things were moved around. And he knew right off the bat. And they said it was hilarious to them. What the hell did they put that guy through? Does that make you want to have friends around? Young people doing what they do. You want to have a party and have your friends come over, and that's what you get. You get your shit moved around. And they laugh at you. You know, like, a lot of people from when I was younger, they recognize this about me. And if you're a younger person, and some people on this site are pretty young, if you show it, they know it. If you tell it, hey. And there's pleasure that people get from fucking with people. Especially people that are fucked up. You're not fucked up. You're a unique, you're a rare breed of human being. If you talk about prototype of human being, you're a very special human being. They're the ones that are not special because they're so average. So you gotta keep that in mind. Your own hell, though, is up to you, though. And this is what I'm talking about with the superstitions. I could go on with the superstitions. I'll explain. Superstitions to me is any kind of repetitive thing that you have accumulated, or something that you've done since childhood. And it has to do with, if you do not do it, something bad will happen to you. And the depth of it has to do with being exhausted, in my opinion, and also too, it's always going to be there. It's when you're exhausted, that's when it's going to be getting kind of extreme, or coming on a little bit stronger. And everyone's going to have it a little bit more, a little bit less. And that's something to consider. What do you do about it? If you watch any of my other videos, I'll talk about nutrition, I'll talk about this, I'll talk about that. I don't have anything for that. So I don't come up with things for whatever, to please myself or make things up. That's not the case. I actually, self-evident wise, I have nothing for that. Other than pretty much any kind of stimulants, maybe you might be taking too many of them. The thing is, if I have some kind of attention situation, because you can watch me and I bounce around, I know that caffeine and all those kinds of things can bring you in, so where you can focus a little bit more, which is evident for me. So to say that caffeine is in the way or whatever, that's kind of up to you. If you have attention situations and the caffeine brings you in closer to realizing that you can focus or whatever, that might not be the situation. So there's fine tailoring, there's the finesse with yourself to say, okay, maybe this, maybe that. Still, if we both have the superstition type things going on, and even myself, I am zero on any kind of mysticism or anything that has anything to do with any kind of religion or any of those types of things. Zero on in me. And that's all on my understanding of things. That's the way I roll. So and I'm still superstitious without any of those things. So if you're superstitious with those things, oh boy, that's going to be a whole lot of superstitions going for you. If you say, hey, these superstitions are kind of getting in my way, and it takes you 5 hours to get out the front door so you can go get food for yourself because you have so many superstitions that have to do with mysticism or whatever else, you could say to one of the first things that might do you something is to cut back on some of the mysticisms and look at more realisms or anything that you can partake on that has to do with only what is. And that's the way I look at it. Only what is. If I say to myself, okay, I got to touch this door underneath, or else what? Well, I've got to come to grips with that, even without any of those things. And at this point, I've gotten to the point where I'm not. Sometimes I won't touch those doors because I'm saying to myself, "Fuck it," and that's apathy too, as well. And I'm so tired, and I just need to go to bed, which I won't. Those are the worst nights. I'll lay down so tired, and I definitely will not go to sleep. And I'm being punished by my brain for whatever reason. Superstition, being punished. It's just my brain. That's all it is. I don't touch the doorknob, nothing's going to happen. Doesn't matter. Consequence, though, of an actual action, I go outside, I go out the door, and I start screaming at someone, bah, 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 bah. Well, that's going to actually be a realistic thing that has to do with my behavior, whether I did or whether I didn't. That should get more attention than anything. Any touching the doorknob or anything should be nothing compared to my actual actions. I should put more thought into my actual actions than I should put touching a fucking doorknob, or whether or not I didn't touch the doorknob. And hey, if you're still with me, we're at 18 minutes here. If you're still with me, you know what I'm talking about. And this is not in vain, because this is something that we've got to go on about. Remembering what the other two things I was going to talk about? I probably won't remember them. Yeah. Whatever. Superstitions. Anxiety in a public place. Yes. I remember that one. Okay. So let's talk about the difference between anxiety and a panic attack. Anxiety is when, for me, I'm in any situation, anywhere, any place, isolated or around people, and I am getting the fight or flight thing going on. You're overwhelmed. Your nerves are overwhelmed, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, do I have to go to the bathroom? Do I have to do this? Do I have to do this? And one of the things that kind of spurs that on publicly, let's say I'm at the gas station, and I've got my product, and I'm going up to the product, and there's a person in the checkout with the person checking them out, and they're intoxicated. This was last week. She was really drunk, because I watched her when I was pulling up. She was barely making it to the door. I've been there, so peace to her. I understand. And she was at the front, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, God, how long is this going to take? Because I'm out of control now. Things are not going the way they usually go. So anything that's outside of how it usually goes is going to kind of be something. There's many things. For me at that moment in time, or what was happening. So I there's a closed section, so I put my product on the counter, and I started to just walk back and forth, back where they couldn't see me. I was doing my pacing, and a lot of it can be shut off fast, that anxiety, because you feed it. You feed your brain. You feed that anxiety, and it has to do with your nervous system. I've gone through this so many times, I'm kind of tired of it, so I can really fast just say, dude, this is the same shit. Just fuck it. Just pace, breathe, who cares? And I can pace a little bit. And as soon as I heard checkout, okay, good night, bye, I walk back up, I get my stuff, I walk up to the counter, and I do as I usually would, get what I wanted, and split, and get back. The nervous system will really beat the crap out of you sometimes. A lot of times I'm really nervous about whether or not I have to go to the bathroom or whatever. And I know a lot of you are going to have that same thing too, especially if you go through anxiety and nerves and whatever, because that does have to do with stimulating your bowels, so that way you have to go to the bathroom, or maybe even to pee, urinate. Well, the way I look at it now is I have many places that I can go. And that's where I say to myself, when I'm pacing back and forth, I'm saying to myself, so what, man? So what? I don't even wear underwear anymore. And I wear shorts a lot of the times. I don't care. And that's kind of having to battle your anxieties, is doing things where you're going the opposite way. So I'm saying, okay, well, let me give you an example. So if I'm saying to myself, okay, well, I might mess my pants, or I might do this, or I'm worried about that. Well, I could say, well, I'll go get Depends, or I'll put a butt plug in, or whatever. No, that's going toward the fear. Well, what I do, and that this has something to do indirectly with that, because I don't want the band of the underwear constricting my freaking lymph node system, and it's uncomfortable to wear freaking underwear. So I gotta buy the damn things, so I take it off. Oh, I better wear pants or whatever. No, man, I'll just wear shorts. Fuck it. And that is the mind going in the direction of, things are, anxiety, or fuck it. And that's half of getting by those anxiety times. You dig what I'm saying? So if you're going on a date and you're thinking these things that are, this could happen. Well, there's things that you will do to harness the shit, and there's things that you can do that goes towards fuck it. Fuck it. I'll park over here. Fuck it. Reasonably, and this is all reasonably. It's not in a sense of, I'll do something that's stupid. That's not what I'm saying. If I'm at the gas station and I've got to go, I'd say, even if I had to be, hey, can I get the key to use the bathroom, even if I have to interrupt this gal in front of me or whatever? That person will know this person has to go to the bathroom. I've been there. Key, bang, I'm in the bathroom. I can use the bathroom. If I'm not in the bathroom, if I'm not in the grocery store and I'm out and about, I'll find a tree. I don't give a fuck, and I have. And this is what I'm saying towards all things that have to do with public anxieties. And this is a mastery of it, a lifelong mastery of fuck it. Because you're really not going to get to, I'm not going to get there unless I wear the shorts without the underwear. And maybe my down below is popping out a little more. I don't care. I don't care. This is another thing. Fuck it. I have shorts on. If there's the imprint of what I have going on down there, I don't care. Because that's up to other people whether or not. Because if I'm wearing clothes, that's all that matters. So if you're a woman and you don't want to wear a bra, hey, fuck it. Especially women that are wearing bras for breasts that are not hanging down. Fuck it. I've seen some women that are not wearing bras at all, and they have smaller breasts that are not heavy, and they don't need a bra, and their nipples are showing through, and as far as I'm concerned, that's cool with me, and it doesn't have anything to do with a sexual thing. It's a more of a free type thing. A woman at the water park who's wearing something that's very revealing and it's comfortable to them, or they're maybe not so comfortable about something in their life and they're using less wearing to get over those types of things. And you might be thinking, well, what in the hell are they doing wearing? They shouldn't be wearing that. There's a very big possibility that they're getting over an anxiety. Or they're getting over something that has something to do with their body image. You got to realize that publicly, people they're becoming more. And it doesn't have anything to do with society telling you what you can or what you cannot do. Is there a law that a person with a big body is not allowed to wear a bikini to a water park? That's kind of deep. A person can do whatever they want as far as what they can reasonably do. Obviously a person that wants to walk around at the water park naked, they might be overcoming something and might be deeper than you can even realize. And they're willing to go through the crap that's behind that. They're welcoming it. They're going into it. The depth of the human mind and getting over certain things inside of your mind. You may never understand the reason for what another person is doing, especially someone as myself that will go out, and there might be quite a bit of people that might say, dude, what is that guy doing? I have things going on inside of my mind that they may never realize or understand in their lives at all. And respectfully, before I do anything at all, most of the time I compel myself to be considerate. I do. And sometimes I am not completely. I'm oblivious. I don't even know. And then someone will say, hey, mister, blah, blah, yeah? So that's public anxiety. What was the last one? Can I remember? tonight has been brought to you by Four Loko 12% seltzer, black cherry, with the sucralose, non-sugar. It's interesting. I'm getting a good feel from this. This is lovely. I really wouldn't push away the name of it, Loco. What the fuck are they talking about? Four Loko? Fuck. I don't drink seltzers, so this is different. Social anxieties. That the third one might escape me. It might get away from me here. It's simple for you because you can go back on the video real quick and I'd have to edit it. And we know we don't want to do that. Maybe it's another topic another time to talk about. Yeah. To recap, superstitions, that is a part of anxiety. What can I do about it? Get rest, sleep. For myself, if I'm eating a lot of rough foods or spicy foods or any of that kind of stuff after a certain hour of the day, that can have to do with my body being bogged down before bed, especially before bed. And some of those superstitious type things will pop up even more. Those things such as washing my hands and all that, it's deep, very, very deep. And there's no rationale away from that to keep things that I use with my hands clean. Because there's really, if there's ever anything around me that's something that someone uses with their hands that's dirty, I'll look at that person and I'll be thinking, man, that's something that you use with your hands. And when you're using your hands, you're usually touching your face, you're usually touching your nose, you're usually touching your body. And my hands are pretty damn clean. And my brain isn't. If my brain was as clean as my hands, I would be rocking and rolling right now. Yeah, my brain is kind of dirty. Dirty in a way. Physically. And mentally. Thought-wise. So I want to know what you experience. Even if it's not any of these things that I'm experiencing, I want to know what you're experiencing. If this is something that you want to discuss, I welcome it. Do you mop the floor 4 times a day? Do you dry your face up from washing your face too many times and you're not getting over it? Do you have any of these types of things, these superstitious type things that are seriously, massively debilitating toward your life and your relationship with your family, your children, spouse, mother and father? Debilitating. There's no doubt in my mind that these things could be absolutely debilitating. Going out being debilitating. When you read about agoraphobia, going out, and you're afraid of people, then if you say to yourself, well, I might be agoraphobic because I don't want this, this, and that, and it does have to do with people, it might not have anything to do with having fear of people. your anxieties through being around certain circumstances, being around some of the situations that I brought up, because I can go to the gas station, I can get what I want, and I can go up to the person, I can talk to them, I can do all these things. It's when things start to pop up that are out of the ordinary, I start to have some anxiety. And also too, some vocal pitches, some people's voices will bring up some anxiety. Sometimes, I'm in a car with someone, well, I'm trapped with them, and because they're with me, and I'm not in a situation where I can get away from them if I wanted to. So that's going to stir up some anxiety. So they could be talking to me, and this is normal chit chat where I'm with someone, and then they're talking to me, and maybe the pitch of their voice is not exactly the way that would be soothing to me, and they're talking to me about something that I'm not really wanting to listen to at the moment. Still, I will, because I care about them. And, the depth of this, it goes further and further and further down into some pretty wild stuff. So that's why we can talk about these things, each of us. And I'm fairly open. So if you want to talk about these things, I welcome you to speak about these things. And that's a part, the same as me wearing the shorts with no underwear. That is a part of it, is doing things in the way of the fuck it, instead of the way of wearing the Depends and wearing the 5 layers of underwear. You get where I'm going with this? That is anxiety. That is the battle between you and anxiety. Where you will overcome is through basically fuck it in a rational, reasonable way. Going towards doing things that are more freeing of that, or defiant. In the most simple ways that some people say, so what? So what? What does that have to do with anything? Well, that's not their situation. And that's not their grind. That's not what they're dealing with, because they're dealing with something. And you could very well be an asshole to any of the things that they're bringing up. Oh man, I punch my wife in the face every once in a while, man. But you could say, hey, so what? You are a piece of crap. You also could say, well, what's underlying? Why are you punching your wife in the face? That's a caring heart. That's a caring brain. So we're not all going to be aligned with each other. We're not all going to experience the same things. If you experience these things with me, or similar to what I experienced, then you can reach out to me and I will talk to you. I'll talk to you in private if you want to. We can chat about these things in private. I might not have a massive amount to input on any topic. I've got to connect to it to a degree. So reach out to me privately. If you even can on this site, you can always send me your information and then you can delete it and I can email you or whatever. Wow. Napoleon is out. Here he is. You gonna say hi? You gonna say hi? Say hi. Hi. You gonna sing a song? Yeah? You gonna say hi? Hi. You gonna give kisses? That's Napoleon. He's a conure. Speaking of anxiety, he doesn't like to come out. He's spooked easily. There's been some times that he's come out and he's been spooked. And he'll fly around and it scares him. So he's not extremely adventurous. He comes across that way, that he has anxiety as well. I'd say birds are probably, most birds they have that fight or flight. You could do anything. You could throw a little peanut on the floor and they'd fly away. Anytime a little mouse walks around on the floor, he freaks out. You know, it's alert, alert, alert. How is that not too different from us? And how that can be an issue with the brain, with the complexities of the brain. And you think about how if you have a leveled, an equalized situation in the brain where you have everything. You have anger, you have to fight, to flee, to care, to share, to hoard, to destroy, to build. If you think about the differences between the different human beings, how there's more or less of all these things, and this makes the personality, this makes the character of humans. What's the matter if there's an issue with the brain, where the brain is not functioning properly, or the same as others at least, and you have this heightened sense of the brain where there's a lot of anger all the time, well then you might have someone, a woman punched in the face, or a person that's, as far as hoarding goes and getting and greed, where these are heightened instincts, heightened senses. Well, what makes the relativity between us and animals, where we can look at an animal where they do something so specific, basically, fly away, stay and fight as a lion would do. You know, a lion will fight any animal to protect their cub, and even if it's a certain death. I mean, it's where they are not going to win. I mean, they're going to lose. They're going to die. They'll still stay and fight. And then other animals will probably leave their cubs, or even there's animals that will actually eat their cubs, or their babies, their offspring. There's animals that will be able to reproduce without actually having intercourse. They can reproduce, or an organism, they can reproduce without actually having sex, any kind of sex. They don't have to be inseminated. They can give birth to a new creature. So if you think about the differences between human to human, and understanding why is this, why is that, then in very odd, strange, unique ways we can go around without wearing underwear or bras. So refer to my video about fear. Refer to any videos online about any kind of moods or anxiety, and we all can come together. Reach out, say hi, good night to everyone, have a nice day, best to you, peace and love, care for one another,